I want to introduce everyone today to my friend Philip Goldberg, who has written some amazing books that I have just devoured through the years. They're so great. And he has a really relevant book now that is out. That beautiful book, Spiritual Practice for Crazy Times. And I want you to tell me a little bit about this book, because you've covered through the years, and I love that you have been covering spiritual topics for over 45 years of your life.
I did as a professional writer. I've had to write about a lot of other things as well. But when I could write about relevant spiritual topics, and especially this intersection of Indian spiritual teachings and the modern world we all live in the West, that's sort of been what I've gravitated to, especially the last 10, 12 years.
What are some of the practical applications that you bring to people for these crazy times?
The premise of the book, and it's not a premise in the sense that it's speculation,
Right.
but the basic point of view of the book is you will find in every spiritual tradition, in the corners of the spiritual traditions that turn us inward into our internal being. And that is that at the core of what we are, at the deep center of our existence, is what I'm calling in the book a sanctuary of peace. It's closer than our breath, nearer than our heartbeat. It's what we are. In our essence, we are spiritual beings that are already at peace, that have within us a source of contentment and of compassion and love and light. That's our essence. We are distracted by the outer things of life. We forget. We're not taught and trained properly. But the spiritual methods that work the best bring us inward to that place of perfect peace. And that is the core message of the book, and all the techniques that I describe in the book, the instructions, the guidelines, they're all meant to give us access to that, what is already our birthright, to the inner peace.
Now, you wrote a book, The Life of Yogananda. I love Yogananda. His essence is so near and dear to my heart. From the first time I set foot at Lake Shrine, I had the most profoundly powerful experiences every time I go there. And I just feel his essence. What drew you to write that book on Yogananda's life?
My book prior to The Life of Yogananda was called American Veda. And the subtitle was From Emerson and the Beatles to Yoga and Meditation, How Indian Spirituality Changed the West. So I covered 200 years of history of these teachings coming here and how it influenced so many millions of people, and in ways people don't fully appreciate. In that context, I wrote about all the gurus who came here. And Yogananda, of course, was an important one. He got a chapter of his own. When I wrote that, I came to appreciate two things: how important he was, how influential on so many lives, and two, what an interesting life he led as a human being, the human story.
When I went to Lake Shrine one time, I was looking through, the little museum that they have there.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of him and Mayor Schwab, who was a mayor from Buffalo, New York. So he actually spent
time there
in Buffalo.
He was,
these areas.
Yes.
Towns.
He did well. His first he arrived in America in Boston,
right,
and spent the first 4 years here in Boston.
I didn't
And
realize that. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
and then he traveled cross country by car, seeing
Uh,
the United States,
yeah.
ended up in LA in right after New Year's in 1925, and LA became his headquarters and his home for the rest of the time, and is still the headquarters of his international organization. And I found myself inspired by having written Yogananda's life, because if anybody ever exemplified staying spiritually grounded in the midst of challenges,
Mm.
it was him.
Well, I'm so grateful to you, Philip. And I've got to say, I got to thank you so much for coming on the show today. What a joy. It's great to see you again. It's been years.
You too. It's been a few years since you left
Yeah.
Southern California,
Yes.
but you're doing what's right for you at the moment, aren't you?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
The deeper
And you
work.
look great. You haven't aged a day.
Oh, I love you for this and a million more reasons, Philip. Well, you too. You look amazing.
Yeah.
California is suiting you well.
Okay. Well,
Before we started this, I was trying to talk Philip into coming back east. I was like, come on.
I'll come for a visit
Yes, come for a visit.
when the weather
Thank
is
you.
warm.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. It's
Much
great
love.
to see you.
Great
Be
to see you.
well.